So, hello and welcome to the latest episode of
Oh,
our podcast. And I I kind of this is going to be a podcast a little bit with a difference because I think I've sort of instigated this. So I know that many times in our podcast we talk about the personality profile, and Jodene mentions the archetypes and how this shows up in your profile. So I thought in the last episode we spoke a little bit about how the archetypes, the way they show up in your profile,
yeah.
can impact things like your relationship with food. And my ears immediately perked up because I've had a lifelong struggle with food. And I'm sure there's many people who listen to this go, yes, yes, me too. So we thought it would be interesting to maybe take a closer look at my profile so you can kind of get a better understanding of what it's about. So before I hand over to Joe, I'm just going to show you, this is what you get when you do your personality profile, that Jodene takes your date of birth and your time of birth. That's correct. And you get this beautiful profile. It is all of about 40 odd pages. And it really does tell you all about yourself. So we're just going to take possibly one aspect today and share it with you so you get a better understanding of the work that Jodene does and the power of this work. So Jodene, before we go into that, how are you?
I am good. I'm good. I'm feeling like there's people are starting to shift and pay attention in different ways. So so there is a real nice, good, excited feeling with me. It's I don't know what day this is going to go out, but it's a fresh week. It's the start of a fresh week. So it's feeling all good. I really am. I'm so excited to do this. And actually, I had lunch with a friend who I've also done their personality profile for yesterday, and we've been exchanging some favors, and I said to her, "Oh, I feel bad to ask you because you haven't, I haven't helped you in a long time." And she picked up her phone and she was like, "Will you please look at my last search?" Her last search was literally into the personality profile. So even though we haven't really been chatting about it, she consistently uses the personality profile. And I'm so grateful also because so often, you just say to me, "Joe, I'm referring to the personality profile." And that's what I want people to understand, that it is the absolute blueprint to someone's personality. And the other thing that's so important to understand, and I really have to say this, is that when my friends in high school were playing sport or going to extra lessons or whatever they were doing, I was at astrology lessons. When I was in high school still, and I'm seeing some of my high school friends, and when we do the math, we've been out of school 33 years.
Yeah,
That's how long.
scary.
I was doing astrology when it wasn't even on computers, and I actually had to do the math, and we had all those tables, and we had to work it all out. And that's how long I've been working with astrology. And this work is absolutely lifeology designed and created. It is all my years of understanding the power of astrology, not as a tool of prediction, not as a tool of, when am I going to get married, or where should I be living? And astrology can do beautiful things like that. But this is to understand the blueprint of your personality. It goes through every single aspect of who you are. There are 38 aspects to anyone's personality, and any person can come to me and give any issue that's happening in their lives, and we will find it within the aspects of the personality.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And it's been years of using it, and years in the making. And now it's time to really say to people with such confidence, if you've tried anything before, any kind of dynamic to lose weight or to exercise, or you've put a vision board up, you've set a New Year's resolution for yourself, you've done anything, any intention that you've set for yourself, any place that you feel stuck and want to get unstuck, then the solutions lie right here, because your intentions, you don't meet your intentions because you don't understand who you are within yourself to bring them to life. And you feel stuck because you don't understand the depths of your worthiness and what part of your personality to anchor into to get yourself unstuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
Right.
decided we're going to look into a part of your personality blueprint, right?
Yes, I'm going public.
Good. And thank you for, I mean, it's beautiful and it's vulnerable. So we're really and truly grateful. So I am going to share. Right, Di, we're in your personality profile. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to do, we're just going to jump around. It's not for us to go take anyone through the process, right?
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is we have decided that together we're going to look at your eating, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we've said. So we have different areas in these 38 facets that we have. There are specific places that do really specific things. So I want to have a look at this when we have a look at the life themes over here. I know it's tiny, but so when we have a look at, we're looking at the different archetypes, okay?
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to discover which archetype is governing one of these 12 life themes that we have. Okay. So your personality profile is divided into your emotional well-being. So we have a look at the different aspects that govern your emotional well-being. Then there are all of your traits, and your traits are made up of 3 different areas within your personality profile. And then we have our life themes, which we're going to look at. And the theme is, it covers every single area of our lives, from our self to our values, our communication style, what security means to us. And if you're looking at it, it does fall into the concept of the astrological wheel, but it's not something that you're going to find anywhere else, because once again, it's created by lifeology. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to just get it to a decent size, so everyone must just be patient. Okay. So now we want to talk about food. We talk about eating. We want to talk about food. Okay. So when we talk about food, there is an aspect of our life called balance. Okay. And in our aspect called balance, what we're doing is we are seeing what happens on a day-to-day basis with me. What happens day to day? And that's where that balance is so important. That aspect of balance covers, according to the archetype that's in there, it covers how you eat, the behaviors and the traits that link to your eating. So something that's really important for me to say is that this can be done 2 ways. So whenever I start with someone, I always say, do you want to know the astrological profiles, or do you just want to do it as personality profiling? Di, because you're so curious and because you believe so much in all of the astrology. That's why it's telling you second house, and it's telling you that the traditionalist as the archetype is Taurus. But we can absolutely do this work with nobody having any connection to the astrology whatsoever. It's always important for me to say, though, that it is based in astrology.
Yeah. Okay.
So our daily routine actually governs how we eat. Because what happens is, every day we start with our good intentions for ourselves, and we have our commitment for ourselves. And it asks what well-being means to us. When we are in this life theme of balance, what does well-being mean to us, right? And well-being it's always going to be my relationship with my body, my wellness with my body, my ability to find balance, to be healthy and to exercise and to eat well And it goes on to get enough sleep, to get enough water. It's all the aspects that it takes to keep the body in balance. This is also, just on the side, if anyone is dealing with workaholic stuff, anyone within their lives saying, you don't have time for me, it's always about work, things are in balance, this is the life theme that we come to. And this statement is so important. Any kind of holidays, fitness, healthy eating, but it's all determined on the energetic harmony of who we are. It's all determined on energetic harmony. Okay. So you and I know it's Monday. We wake up with the best intentions for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Those best intentions are, this is the Monday that I'm going to eat better. This is the Monday that I'm going to be healthier, right? You have certain behaviors with which you manage the way that you keep your day balanced, which is totally different to me and totally different to a whole lot of other people. Okay. So this is your opportunity to understand what it means to have a balanced life. So there's two things we're going to do. We're going to have a look now at these statements, and I want us to chat through them. So you're going to tell me how you relate, and then we're going to look at, when you're confident, which behaviors you can rely on, and when you are in low esteem, what triggers you out of balance. Okay. So the very first thing is that you should have a balance between how much you work and the reward you receive. So if we just look at food, we're only looking at food now, okay? That statement would say, it's very important for you soon in the game to see that when you put the work in to feel healthy or to do the right thing, you do want to have some kind of reward system with yourself.
Okay.
Can you relate to that?
Yeah. I mean, I know. I mean, I've actually written here. I mean, it is a little bit earlier this year that it was out of whack.
Okay.
And what keeps coming up as I'm reading this is food is my reward.
Okay. So that's
my reward,
right?
Yeah.
So then, does that then throw you? So you get yourself into balance and you eat healthy. Do you then reward yourself with something that is potentially unhealthy? It's like, okay, I've been good for 3 days now, I need to reward myself.
Yeah. It is. There's often this sense of like, I deserve to treat myself. If it's been a very busy so for me personally, I don't like rushing around a lot. I don't like days where I'm out all day. And then when I get home, it's like, oh, well, I've been out all day. I actually deserve to have a cheese sandwich, even though I know it doesn't really agree with my digestion. It's a comfort thing. It is partly reward and it's partly comfort. And I never actually connected it with food. I mean, I've obviously read through this more than once, but I never really connected it with food. And I guess it goes to the same thing as like when most people go on holiday, the first thing, and you've just had this experience when you went to Croatia, is, I'm on holiday. I deserve to eat and drink whatever I feel like. I'll worry about getting back on track when I get at home. So and then you get back home and you've picked up weight and you're unhappy with the way you look and feel. And this really like negative spiral starts all over again. And I know that I have a tendency to excess, and that's the Piscean thing is addictive. I know I have an addictive personality. It's why I don't keep biscuits and stuff
And things.
in the house, because I'll just eat them if they're here.
Right. I want to take a step back and I want to show personality differences though, first.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about your traditionalist. So I am the opposite. When I came back from an overseas trip thinner.
Yeah.
Remember that. So
yes,
I don't have that. It's a holiday thing. I must indulge because I have a totally different archetype in this area. I have the analyst. I am very structured. So I know I put boundaries in place when I come back, and mine is because I am happiest when I am traveling in the nomad. So when I come back, I get myself out of whack, and then I don't eat healthy. So it's so important to point that out, is that when you understand your personality type, you understand that when you travel, you are indulgent. I understand that when I travel, I'm actually the happiest, and I am not indulgent at all. I'm the complete opposite. So that's really important for everyone to understand. In whatever you're saying, Di, whatever I'm saying, I want people to start to get curious and not go, oh, I sound like Di or I sound like Joe, to actually go, what is my uniqueness? So that's really important.
Okay.
So I want to talk into the traditionalist now. So when you look astrologically, the traditionalist is Taurus. And Taurus, it's very important that Taurus has, or the traditionalist has, a feeling of being grounded, a feeling of stability. So too much within your day is going to literally trigger the traditionalist, because the traditionalist does not like, if you look at this bottom sentence, if you aren't in a healthy routine, or you're too set in your ways, okay, then you don't have leeway. So it's to understand that, to actually prepare yourself and go as the traditionalist. And when we listen to the word of the archetype of the traditionalist likes things to be steadfast, really and truly likes routine. You're comfortable in your routine, not everywhere. When it comes to how you eat, your daily life, I bet you are good with a set plan. Like if I say make a big bowl of salad and eat that for the week, or stick to the same breakfast.
Which is what I do. I'm very happy to have the same, I don't need the variety. And I never thought about that with the traditionalists, but what happens is, so probably if I have a really busy day and I come home at say 3:00 or 4:00 and I'm irritated, what I should do is eat something healthy. But because I guess that I need that grounding, I'll go for the heavy comfort foods. I don't like myself afterwards because I don't like the way they feel on my digestion. So what I'm hearing when you're talking is I actually probably need to plan better and go, I know you're really good at like cooking a big bowl of pasta and then keeping it in the fridge, is to have them, but in ways that are healthier, because I get home and then I'm irritated, like I don't have time or patience to cook something or make something. So then I eat whatever I can get my hands on. And that's not always a healthy choice. So, I do. I mean, I literally have the same breakfast every day, and I'm really happy with that.
And you want to lean into the strengths, you want to lean into the confidence of the traditionalist in the way that you plan your daily life, right? And the traditionalist does, first of all, the traditionalist there is literally sensuality in food, right? So you do want to have delicious things. It's very important that you enjoy, and the low esteem is that there can be indulgence. When you actually look at the low esteem traits, there can be indulgence, right?
Mm.
But you actually do prefer to be disciplined and know tomorrow is going to be a crazy day. I am going to get home and I'm not going to feel grounded. So let me prepare my food. The traditionalist does like forward thinking. The traditionalist
Sure.
actually does like forward thinking. So if you get yourself into that headspace, because now we're saying, what does daily balance mean for you as the traditionalist?
Yeah.
It means to not allow yourself to get triggered by anything that is a rush, anything that is too unstructured, anything that gets you into some kind of a place where the nerves feel frazzled.
It's so interesting because I always say I can't eat when I'm stressed. Like, when we were organizing the fair, I had my good breakfast before I left, got to the fair at 9:00. I didn't eat again until about 5 p.m. because I had a lot of water, but I know I cannot eat when I'm on the run, but then when I get as soon as we packed up, it was like, okay, we actually went to a restaurant in the center and ate, because then I could sit down and then I could eat. So I cannot
and then
eat.
you want something, then you wanted something indulgent, right?
Yeah. It wasn't the greatest choice, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But it's actually now to start to empathize with yourself, because it is the natural behavior of who you are. And I also want to make it so clear. So with whatever I'm doing, when I talk about food or exercise, or I'm not coming in from the place, I have no nutritional background. It's never coming from that. And this is the ideal time. This is why I love to collaborate with people, because this is my ideal time to say to you, if you had to speak to someone who is a nutritionist, who does specialize in nutrition, and now they understand that your personality is to have these long gaps of not eating when it is a stressful day, they will most probably say to you, pack a little pack that goes in your bag of nuts and a couple of dried cranberries and that kind of stuff, because then it's the mix of protein, carb, and fat. And surely, just nibbling on that might help along the way. That's the kind of advice that I would suggest you now get, because you're getting into a place of, the traditionalist doesn't like to be out of balance, right? And then something within life, whether it's really been a busy day, or you can't structure it the way you want to, when that gets out of balance, you don't want to eat. And then what you're actually doing is you are taking your body out of balance, because your body is then not getting what it needs, which is actually upsetting the body more and the archetype more.
Yeah.
So by the time you actually get somewhere, you have traumatized your archetype, you've traumatized your body, and then you're in a space of trauma. And because it's the traditionalist wants to be grounded as quickly as possible. And that grounding will come into something that needs to be heavy. Imagine wanting to be grounded. That's why you want to eat something heavy.
And it's the only place that I have the traditionalist. I don't have it anywhere else. Yeah. Well,
and also something this is very important with the traditionalist. Never try and think that what you should be eating should not be joyous and indulgent, because you don't want to dim the light of this archetype. So I'm going to talk because of how I know you. I'm going to talk a little bit about your exercise and all those different kinds of things. You, at one stage when you were dancing, remember how much you just loved the dancing?
Yes,
and the ability to just, because the traditionalist is that energy that also can really get into a place of the sensuality is so important. It's a key word for the traditionalist. Sensuality is a key word. And dancing does have that element of it. So we've got to figure a way that you have certain things that are healthy, but are also connecting to all the different senses. You don't want to have something that's not absolutely enjoyable. So to take it another level, it would be, how do we now find absolutely creative recipes? Because now you understand something about yourself. You understand there needs to be certain things in the freezer, there needs to be certain things in the fridge, and there needs to be certain things in the cupboard, right?
Yeah.
What do you now create beforehand? Because the traditionalist does like to be practical and plan. The traditionalist would like to have things in the cupboard, things in the freezer, and things in the fridge. How do we then create them? And now you get to do some conscious self-awareness planning and say, what do I make that sits in the freezer for that day when all my senses are disrupted? It does have a little bit of weight. So, for example, like a heavier kind of butternut pumpkin stew that just has to go on the stove and be warmed.
Sure.
And now we can start. We understand who we're dealing with now.
Yeah. I never, I'm always one that says, like, I can't plan my food in advance. Like, I don't know what I want to eat. But I can certainly have food there that can satisfy me. It might not be like, okay, I'm going to eat this at lunchtime and this at dinner time, but I've never related the
so this
planning part.
So I'm actually gonna swing up. I'm really gonna swing up fast, okay? Because I want to get to the life theme of who you naturally are. Okay.
Okay.
I also want to tell people, because when I'm looking at this, there's been some development along the way. So this is tweaked a little bit. Just tweaked a little bit. But so what I want to just look at two different places. This is so important to understand, Di. Your planning of your food, you don't always want to plan food. You only want to have the food planned for when you do not have the structured, grounded day.
Okay.
And you get the difference.
Yeah.
So when there's the day that is totally free-spirited, and that's why I just want to get to where your emotion is. We're going to have a look at who you naturally are. So who you naturally are is, I just want to find, emotion. I know I'm going up and down a bit. There we go, the caregiver. So actually, when we look at food because we eat emotionally. So if someone says to me, Joe, I don't eat emotionally, and there are some people who don't, but you and I know that you do eat emotionally, right?
Yeah.
What we're looking at now is that it's very important for you to feel like when you are creating food for yourself, it does feel nurturing. Can you see? And you actually do enjoy a home-cooked meal.
Yes.
Right? And also, we've got to be careful because you do like to be imaginative with your food.
Yeah.
So this is why it's important to understand all aspects of the personality, because the food that we're saying you're going to create and have put away, it's not how you're going to eat day to day.
Yeah.
When you eat day to day and things are stable and calm, then the traditionalist is going to make sure that there is that beautiful sensuality in your food. Emotionally, you're going to want to make sure it is imaginative and it is nurturing. And most days in our lives, let's take a week. In a week, how many days do you just get to stay home, eat calm, create the nurturing food for you, in comparison to I'm dashing into town, I have a client,
Um, I'd say probably about 3 or 4 days. I'll sort of be home and fairly, balanced and calm.
Fairly
Yeah,
balanced,
yeah,
fairly
yeah,
balanced and calm.
yeah,
The rest of
yeah.
the time, that traditionalist is
It's,
on go, 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 right?
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And the traditionalist also lacks confidence. So when things are not as they should be, that confidence can kick out. And what will happen if that confidence kicks out? Because you are naturally intuitive emotionally, the traditionalist will knock that intuition out, and you won't trust what you eat. Do you
Okay.
find that sometimes?
Um,
You don't trust what you're about to choose. You don't trust yourself with, I instinctively feel like this.
yeah, no, that does happen. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely
But
happens. And I'd never also equate the traditionalist with sensuality. That's like, but yes, I mean, I haven't danced since my knee op, and I've started to play music again, but
yes.
I never would have put those two together, traditionalist and sensuality. And it is really lacking in my life at the moment, which is maybe why the food choices haven't been as wise as they should be for me.
So when it's lacking, when the traditionalist isn't in a confident space, then there can be a lot of dismissing what's important to you. So you can be dismissive of what's important to you. And one of the things that can kick in, especially if insecurity is kicking in at the same time, is an indulgent archetype. The traditionalist
Yeah,
becomes naturally indulgent. And
yeah.
if we look at it from the astrological point of view, and we look at Taurus, right? Then what happens with the Taurus? With that, think about the big bull, right?
Mm,
Bull will then find the sunny spot where the grass is growing under the shade, like that kind of
yeah.
vibe, and will just graze and graze and graze and
Yeah.
graze, not get up, not
Yes.
move. And so that astrologically, Taurus has the reputation of then being indulgent and being lazy. But when we understand that it actually comes from, like, slow food is ideal for the traditionalist. Fast food is not good for you.
Yeah,
Fast
no,
food.
that I know. Yeah, that I
So
absolutely know.
slow food is good for you, and that also plays into emotionally the caregiver to have taken time to prep your food and to nurture what you're cooking and to put so much love and care into what you're eating is actually really, really important. And
Sure.
you did say, so you did point out to everyone that you are Pisces, which is instinct. So
Mm,
like this is like when you are your most authentic self. So when you're at home and nothing's happening and it's just you with you, then that's when that whole Pisces personality is out the most. And you have double intuition. The caregiver has intuition, and so does the dreamer also have intuition.
okay.
So when you are calm and quiet and everything, you really you eat well. Am I right?
Yeah, and I really listen to my appetite. Like,
No,
I'm
no.
not really hungry. I don't want anything now, or I just want a few nuts and some raisins. Like, yes, I'll be way more aware of what I actually want to eat and then go, okay, you know what? I'm going to spend the time to make what I actually feel like. Whereas if I come home and it's like, oh, I just need to eat something. So what's the quickest? Like, I don't
Right.
want to, I'm so grumpy that I don't want to spend the time. I just want to, like, I want to eat it and I want to eat it now. And that's often when the wrong food choices are
So
made.
imagine, yeah. So imagine that bull again. right? I mean, once that bull is now poked, once you've poked that bull, we're in trouble, right? And it's
Yeah.
just feisty. And so this is what's so important. It's all very good and well to have the self-awareness. Like, it's so fine. This is such fascinating information. We can say it like that. We can go, oh, this is fascinating information. Okay.
Yeah.
But the greater work now is to get into the next step. And the next step is, now that I know this about myself, what do I do? How do I actually go into the archetype of the traditionalist and understand those behaviors and adapt my behaviors?
Yeah.
And that's what I want us to work on. What I would really like you to do is and this is also something that people are going to understand about me, is once we start working together, we're in together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time I spot a recipe that looks like it could be easy, I'm going to send it to you. Let's find a couple of recipes that you can prep on a Sunday that are going to tick some of those boxes. And what are we looking for? Because it's the traditionalist, it has to be yummy. It has to be filling, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But we also want it to be all the different layers of healthy. So maybe a beautiful butternut curry, like I was saying. If you really do have a sweet tooth, let's start to play around with it, because that's the true power of the work now. Yeah. And once again, we can report in on this. We can come back in a month and report in on this, because this is a big realization for you,
It's huge. And I really see that actually spending time looking at the week and going, okay, when are the days when I know I'm going to be gone? Like, I don't eat breakfast early. So when am I going to need to either take a meal with me or somehow plan it so that when I get back, I know I can immediately prep something and it's tasty and nutritious. And I think also, because as I get older, and I have said, I want to go into the last third of my life as healthy as I can be. So, but it's to sustain those changes. But this last 40 odd minutes has been such an eye-opener, because I understand now why I do what I do. I'm not happy about it when I do it, but I'm like, oh my goodness, it just makes so much sense. And I can see it. I know exactly the days that it happens, but now I feel like I've got a tool that I can do something about it. So I would love to come back in a few weeks and let you know.
And I really want to thank you, because someone's personality profile, it's the key to who you are. So you've actually let people see a little bit into genuinely the key to who you are. And I'm so grateful that you were happy to do that. And I'm so thrilled that you got some of this insight. It's so helpful when people say to me, especially with the weight that I've lost. And I always say to people, you're not going to understand how to eat and what you want to eat. This is why I went vegan. This is why I'm so strict. This is why I cut sugar, because I have such a strict archetype in my daily balance. The analyst is so different to the traditionalist. I can eat, my meals have 2 fats, 2 carbs, 2 proteins. And sometimes I will just shove a scoop of pea-based protein powder into a salad dressing. It kind of feels gritty. It's not fabulous, but it's ticking all the boxes. And it works for me. You would hate that. The traditionalists would hate that. We would not be able to share a meal.
That's why I'm always so happy when you come and stay with me, and I'll just give you the kitchen. I'll eat what you bring me.
And then you see, I always tweak mine. I just do something on the side and tweak mine, because I work in such a box when it comes to eating. This has been
Sure.
amazing. Thank you for
Yeah, I'm just
so
I'm so blown away by that realization of just and it is really simple tweaks.
Yeah.
It's being more conscious. Well, I guess that's what your personality profile is. It's being more conscious about how you're showing up instead of just showing up and doing things and complaining because
Right.
you're doing them in ways that don't make you happy. It's like, okay, this is what's going on. This is why I feel like I do. And yeah, and the grounding I think is really important. I didn't really think about that either. I mean, I know my happiest place is my home, but how grounded am I when I'm actually here? Just being in this space, going into my kitchen, looking at my pantry and going, okay, what can I bring in here so it's here when I have those days? So thank you, Jo. This has
It's a
been
pleasure.
amazing. So yeah, anyone who's listening or watching this, I would really encourage you to have your personality profile done. It really this is just one of the 12,
Yeah. One of the 12 life themes and one of the 38 facets.
yeah, and it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. So then we'll see everyone for the next Unstuck Club.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.